banking crisis like no other. One by one, banks began to collapse. First Silvergate Capital, then Silicon Valley Bank, then Signature Bank. In one of the biggest bank runs in modern history, other financial institutions saw their shares fall to record lows. The Union Bank of Switzerland had to rescue the country's leading and oldest investment bank, Credit Suisse.
The banking industry is the most international industry there is, a closely interconnected system. You can compare it to a domino effect. If the first domino falls, it can go all the way to the end, and in the end, we have a financial crisis. So it's very important that in a crisis of confidence, trust is the biggest currency of the banks.
But this trust was broken. Customers began looking for other safe havens. They turned to cryptocurrencies. The price of Bitcoin began to spike earlier this month when the banking crisis first sparked. Ethereum also saw its value increase. Prior to this, cryptocurrencies had been seeing a decline. Analysts say it is due to the FTX scandal and public perception that the digital currencies are increasingly too risky to invest in. And despite losing some value after the Fed's decision to raise rates by 0.25%, both currencies have absorbed the shock quite well.
We have seen Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin surge as this banking scare took hold. It's certainly behaving kind of a bit more like a safe haven asset. Interestingly, it didn't perform so much like an inflation hedge as was expected, as we saw spikes in inflation, but certainly at times of perceived crisis, there does seem to be a stampede into Bitcoin, but often this doesn't last.
The biggest challenge facing these crypto firms is finding institutions to bank with. One popular destination is Switzerland, where its position as a crypto hub with stricter regulation has seen a surge in requests from such firms seeking stable banks. But if this week has taught us anything, it's that financial assets are anything but stable. Emre Boz, TRT World.
Let's get your thoughts on this now, Taha, as well. I mean, first of all, a flight to safe havens. I mean, how risky is it? At the same time, we know that Switzerland is going from 2 universal banks to just 1. Do you think that's also a trend that we might see elsewhere, not just in Switzerland?
I think we're definitely going to see consolidation. We're already seeing that in regional banks in the United States. I think the major important point here is the Federal Reserve is saying that we're going to continue increasing interest rates, or we're going to stay them here until the rest of the year, no cuts. But the market is pricing in multiple cuts in June, July, and for the rest of the year. So this divergence has led investors, it spooked investors. So that's why you're seeing this jump up in crypto. That's why you're seeing price increases in gold and other commodities. It's this uncertainty that needs to be settled as soon as possible, lest we have a major financial crisis.
Right, so Jeffrey, do you agree? I mean, can Bitcoin and all the other digital currency really represent safe haven and have store of value functions as well at this point?
When crypto came along after the 2008 financial crisis, a lot of people thought it was going to be functioning as a hand-to-hand currency. That hasn't really panned out well at all. But on the other hand, it has become a bit of a safe haven. I think it's fair to say that the crypto winter is basically over at this point, which is a remarkable thing. I mean, you have to look at the last 3 months to see that we've seen 70% gains in Bitcoin alone. And crucially, it's all these decentralized currencies that are performing very well, even while the proprietary tokens have, many of them have died. And also, some of the off-ramps and on-ramps have been closed in the US. So you would think that during these times, Bitcoin would be hit, but the opposite is true. It's starting to behave like a real safe haven, like gold used to be. And gold, too, is performing actually very well. But Bitcoin is absorbing a lot of this look for a safe haven. That's what it was invented for in 2008, and it seems to be performing exactly that way right now. It's been a remarkable thing to see, actually.